Welcome folks, it's Nick here. I thought I'd do a bit of an update review of my Honda CB500X, the 2022 model, given that it's now done just over 25,000 miles, 25,000 kilometers in just over a year that I've had it since new. So in that time I've toured down South Europe, and this trip, 6-week trip so far, well 7 weeks so far, north, including Nordkamp. So this is a 7-week so far trip, probably 10 or 11,000 kilometers on it so far. Reliability, absolutely 100% reliable, had no issues whatsoever, and one of the reasons I went for the Honda was because of that reliability piece. And you'd sort of expect that for a bike which is just over a year old anyway. Fuel economy has varied on this trip from about 2.8 to 3.6 kilometers per 100 litres. Sorry, 2.8 to 3.6 litres per 100 kilometers, depending on the road conditions and road type and speeds. So motorway type speeds, it's obviously less miles per gallon. At the moment I'm sitting on 3.5 litres per 100. It's actually been quite hilly terrain with some main drags involved. So fuel economy is pretty good. Tyres wise, this is my third set of tyres. Had the OEMs to start, and then I put Bridgestone Battle Axe AX41s for my trip south through Europe, and then when I got back to the UK I put the OEMs back on and did a few thousand miles with those. When I went North Coast 500, etc. And then before I came on this trip, because I knew I would be doing quite a few miles, I had new tyres fitted. Couldn't get the Dunlop Trail Max, the OEMs, so I've gone for what was available, which were the Metzeler Tourance 2. Now I've done about 10,000 kilometers, as I say, and they were wearing very nicely up through Norway and all the rest of it, but when I came back down through Finland and Estonia, a lot of the roads there are absolutely dead straight, so I've sort of squared off my rear. It's good enough to get me home, but it's not ideal. But that will have done about 10,000 or 11,000 kilometers maybe, so 6,000 or 7,000 miles. Comfort wise, comfort is subjective. I find it comfortable enough, but something I didn't really think about. So I'm 6 foot, about 1.83 meters, 12 stone, 75 kilos. My other bikes, I have two other bikes actually. One of them is like sitting on a plank of wood. The saddle is just a strip of material, I'm sure. And the other, the Triumph Street Triple, is saddle-wise, it's okay. But both other bikes are a bit scrunched really. So it's a Ducati 749 that I have, and on that I'm very scrunched in a sort of racing style. On the Street Triple it's quite an aggressive stance, riding position. So sitting on this one feels very comfortable indeed. But I highly recommend you try it yourself, especially if you're slightly taller. Performance wise, it's been fine. It's not a sports bike or anything. It's a 500cc 47 horsepower A2 class motorcycle, and it will quite happily sit on motorways. But if motorways and fast linked roads are my main thing, then I'd consider something slightly beefier. If you're doing this type of thing interspersed with fast roads, then it's perfect from my perspective. And it's also got space for all the camping gear, because I've got quite a bit of camping gear on the back. Not GS or any of the big bikes, obviously, but it's lighter than those. Its handling characteristics are fine. Without all the camping gear sat behind me, it's really nimble round the bends. I'm just aware of it. It's like having a child on the back with the amount of gear that I'm carrying, so that does make a difference. It's pretty good, sure-footed. I've added a number of accessories and I'll do a separate walk around. Going on my CB500X, which is the bike I took with me last year. It's done about 10,700 miles now, I think. Had new tyres fitted. I couldn't get the Dunlop Trail Max standard OEM type tyres for it, so I've had to go for Metzeler Tourance Next tyres. So hopefully they'll do the job. They're not the knobbly type things I had. I had AX41s last year, which is a bit of overkill for the type of off-road, unmade road that I was doing. Got new chain and sprockets fitted, and no, before you ask, I've kept the standard chain and sprockets. I'm happy with that configuration, so leaving the gearing as it is. I've added a windshield extender. I'm not sure whether I'll live with that, but let's see how that goes. It's just a cheap one off of eBay. I've also got a twin USB charger, which will charge stuff as I ride along. It's wired into the ignition system, so I can't inadvertently leave it on. And these, I don't know if you've seen these are Oxford products, hot wraps I think they're called. So they're heated grips, but they can be removed if you wish. Again, they're plumbed into the ignition system. I think that's probably it about the bike. It's going well. I'm now heading off to probably everything I can think of. If I think of more, then I reserve the right to come back on a different day. Might be on a different road, probably, and do a few inserts. I meant to say that the bike's had its services. It had a 25,000 kilometre service in Tallinn in Estonia. It was a last minute type of booking. They managed to squeeze me in, but not for the full service, so I've still got to get the valves looked at. They did oil filter, air filter, rear brake pads. So I don't know what I've been doing with it. Oh look, it doesn't want me to go that way. I'll go that way. I'll go this way. And that was €225. So I'll just say bye for now.